Hello and welcome to a Smurd video, and today we are looking at Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 114, and this is one of the variant covers, which is all like a zombie Power Ranger, Billy in particular, which I find interesting because there have not really been zombies in the actual story, so I just thought I'd point that out. So this is written by Melissa Flores, colors by Raul Angulo. Jose Enrique Fernandez is the assistant. Illustrations by Simona. Gianfelice. I'm pretty sure I said that wrong. I do apologize. And letters by Ed Dukeshire, who has been a regular since forever. So, our story begins with Mistress Vile's fleet in Safe Haven. And we've got Adam and Rocky both doing different things to get through the coming days. And then they reach out to start talking to other Power Rangers. And we soon learn that there are multiple Rangers from the future, from different teams such as Lost Galaxy, Wild Force, Mystic Force, Operations Overdrive, Dino Charge. There we go. So there's lots and lots and lots. And the Angel turns up. He says, I'm going to introduce you to Dark Specter. Now we will see more of what that means for these two later on. So continuing on from last issue, The Phantom Ranger has a gun pointing at Billy. And he thinks that they've caused this through building the Morphin arch and allowing Dark Specter to walk among everybody, etc. And then we've got Trini from the other universe, and I suggest you stay calm. So this wasn't their responsibility, and he says, you know, our friend was, but this was not what she intended, and we tried to stop it from activating. So the gate actually pulled Phantom Ranger through the gate, etc. So he also says about the power regs. Nobody's been able to establish their sort of the power that they can cause, etc. You know, they could be used as a key, but they could also cause great destruction, etc. So the Phantom Ranger talks about how he was trapped. The infection trapped him, and then he obviously came through the gate, etc., which we've seen. So, and then he says, he talks about the emissaries, which were, we saw once upon a time in Power Rangers universe, I'm going to say, six issues. And this was Phantom Ranger's sort of first story and how it all came about. And they all sort of sacrificed themselves to prevent Dark Specter from coming through. And they tapped directly into the Morphin Grid's power, which merged them, and they were all forever in flux. Now, through them, they believe that they can make contact with the Morphin Masters, and that seems to be the only play to stop this infection. And then Billy points out, unless they're trapped too, which Phantom Ranger concurs with completely. Meanwhile, on Angel Grove, the HyperForce Rangers, whereas the Omega Rangers and the Mighty Morphin Rangers have arrived. Finster, who is way more sinister in these last few issues than he has been for a while, which is great. I actually quite like this sinister Finster. He is getting bamboo to control a crane. And we also learn that these little creatures are called Flores. Flores. And they're apparently tough and sticky all at the same time. So anyway, guess what happens? Finster creates a monster. One that made out of a digger, which is quite cool. And they call on the HyperForce Megazord power. So I'm not sure if this is the first time that we've seen that in comic form, but let's get a close-up there. That looks pretty much based off the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Megazord. So, yeah, there we go. So there's that. So that's kind of cool. So it doesn't go as planned. Meanwhile, Death Ranger rocks up, and he senses Kimberly's broken heart after Tommy was captured, etc. You know, it's broken, etc. And then Matt goes in to save the day. So Death Ranger, they all sort of disappear, etc. once the monster's destroyed. But he says, you know, perhaps another time then, Kimberly. It's sort of, you know, it's one of those moments, etc. Before he disappears. So meanwhile, in Safe Haven, Dark Specter wants a White Ranger to be evil. So he throws the Morpher. He tries to capture him that way to turn him into a villain that he was once under Rita's spell. So this isn't the reunion that anybody wanted on Promethea. And it shouldn't have happened. But Kimberly says, you know, Tommy is Tommy. You can't change him. You know, he was always going to do these things, etc. You know, don't blame yourself, etc. And then we get an exchange between Zordon and the Phantom Ranger, who are old friends. One thing I forgot to mention earlier is Phantom Ranger insinuated to Trini, even if you cut me, there's not much underneath, which means that basically it's basically an empty shell. It sounds like it's an empty shell of a body with what's left of the Phantom Ranger's soul. Also clears up another thing where Billy was perhaps the Phantom Ranger, which was always a fan favorite thing for a very long time, but that doesn't mean that is still not possible. You know, that statement that I just said could mean that Phantom Ranger is going to disappear, and maybe a certain Billy needs to step up to be the Phantom Ranger and help out in disguise. But then again, we saw in space circuits and stuff ripped out anyway. So yeah, so the hearts of these two, they're grieving, they're sad, they're broken, everybody's broken. But obviously Zordon will be sad that Grace died, even though they had their differences. I'm not sure about the Phantom Ranger, but you know, it'll be interesting to find out. So what's the next plan? The next plan is to purge the grid of the infection. But how do they do that? The only way is to enter the heart of the grid itself through a master arch, not a morphing arch, like I said earlier, sorry. But they don't have one. The only one that they are aware of is on Safe Haven. But then Billy says, well, that's not exactly true. Meanwhile, Dark Specter cannot seem to get Tommy to turn evil. Tommy is resistant. However, Rocky and Adam have succumbed to the virus, and well, they spark him out, etc. So he is not happy, you know. But this could be to do with the fact that he broke Mistress Val's spell when she was Rita Repulsa once upon a time. So anyway, Billy's trying to work out how to achieve this with the eggs, etc. You know, he gets called a nerd, etc. You know. And then Billy says, what are you going to do? You're going to stab me again? I dare you to try. And then Kimberly actually gives him a good whack. So this page sort of irked me because I felt like, well, you know these things aren't going to be like that. So it was sort of rushed really, really quickly. So, but I think that's just to emphasize that they've got no choice. That's the only way that I can look at it. They've got no choice. They know where one is. It is on Safe Haven, and that is very well guarded, etc. So they've got to take this back. So you know there's going to be a battle in the next issue, which I'm sort of excited for because this event is flowing quite nicely, you know. It's not staggering. It's coming along quite nicely, and I really am enjoying it. So anyway, looking forward to the next issue. If you like my channel, please support me by subscribing. Thank you for watching. Thank you to those already subscribed to my channel. Make sure you look after yourself, very important these days. And as always, embrace geekiness. Take care. Goodbye.